Hello all, namaste. Hope you are doing good. Basically, this video is regarding what we can do to improve our English proficiency or our speaking and reading English. Because many times I've got a request from many aspirants that how do we improve our English proficiency. So basically, this video is regarding the same because. Whatever I feel are important with respect to learning English or to increase our proficiency, I will try to tell you. There will be many other ways which I might not be knowing. If you know it, please practice it. But this is what I feel that I will tell you. There are some things that I would like to suggest. So basically, to before starting that, I must say I am also learning Sanskrit now. Okay, the Sanskrit language, so I can feel the what you say the pain or because. Learning language since childhood is a easy thing, and we don't realize how much effort we have taken while learning the language in childhood. But when you are grown up and you are trying to learn a language, you realize what you say all the practical difficulties that are there in a language. So basically, so to start with English as such, English speaking, I'll be telling something in between Hindi also, because I had thought to make this video in Hindi maybe, but I thought I am making this video for English language and I will be telling in Hindi. So that's why, but I will be telling something in Hindi as well. So the first issue that I felt when we start learning a language is the confidence, or we feel that we don't have the confidence and we have the initial resistance. अरे यार कौन start करेगा, कौन पढ़ेगा, कल करते हैं, कल करते हैं, कल करते हैं. I feel this is the 50% of the game. If you are able to overcome it, and you are what you say develop in yourself a bit of confidence. Yeah, कर लेंगे यार, we can do it. Then, and if you are able to resist, because see, this is a sadhana. You must have heard the word sadhana. It means a practice, something that is like a steadfast devotion. Anything that you are trying to learn nowadays is a steadfast devotion. You cannot you cannot have a half-hearted conviction while learning English. So the first thing, not with respect to English or any other language, I will say, the first thing that we must have, this is the 50% game is done, what I feel. If you develop confidence with you and you are able to overcome the initial resistance and start taking the first step, and you should not be doing that, okay, कल से करेंगे, no. सुबह से शीघ्रम, दैट इज इट. कल करे सो आज करे सो अब, पल में प्रलय हो जाएगा, बहुरी करेगा कब. So this is something that you must start from today itself. If you want to learn English, please make efforts and overcome the initial resistance. So this is the first step that I feel. The next step I will tell, the next step that is the one of the most important thing which we have to do while learning any language is that, see, we know that the more time we spend with something, the more confident we become with that. So you must have seen the people who have read the topics or revised the topic through 2 to 3 times before an exam, they are quite confident while they are appearing the exam. You must have seen for the people who have traveled in bike so much, or the ones who play guitar and all so much, they are quite confident that yes, I can ride the bike. But for the new beginners, they don't feel so much of confidence. Why? Because they have spent very less time. The more time you spend with someone or something, the more intimate your relationship becomes with that thing. And the same with learning the language. Here you have to devote a lot of time, and don't think that this is a miracle pill or something that you will drink today and tomorrow in the morning you are like you will write answers and topics like William Shakespeare. So that is not possible. It needs time. Please devote your time. And something that I must say, don't make it a burdening event, rather a liberating one. See, basically, if you are into the thing that I have to learn English and it is so difficult, I don't want to learn it, or it is like someone is pressing something on my head, I don't want it. So when you make learning a language like this, ultimately you are not going to learn or the language to the fullest, and you will be not having the fun. Rather, make it a liberating thing. See, when you learn a language, you get the access to a whole lot of literature that might not be translated in your mother tongue. Basically, you are exposed to all the works of Shakespeare. You are exposed to all the works of, what you say, all the great English scholars. You are exposed to all the research works. Or I cannot justify. I am telling you for English. Same is for other languages as well. So make it a liberating thing. See it as an opportunity. It will be frustrating, I know, but what happens? Gradually you will start enjoying it. Gradually you will feel confident. Gradually, just like for the initial days while you are learning the bike, you might fall, you might get hurt, you feel, oh, it's so irritating. But gradually you practice it, and one day, oh my god, I'm so expert with it. The same with this English also. So this is something that I'll say. But there is one request that I would like to make over this platform over here. In the practice of chasing behind English or anything, don't neglect your mother tongue. Because I must say, in the chase for English, what we should do, we neglect our mother tongue, and they are going to get extinct. In many languages of the tribal languages, they are extinct, and many attribute it to that we overemphasize on English. So somewhere I say that English is something that is needed, for because you will get access to the world, you will get access to the foreign things and all those things. But please keep a corner of your heart for your mother tongue also, and go through the try to develop your knack for reading the literatures of your mother tongue also, because they are also very rich source of knowledge. In fact, I have Odia. My mother tongue is Odia, and I feel so proud when I read Odia literature. I cannot express you. So Odia मतलब बहुत भल लगे. So the people of Odisha can relate. Now the third thing that I'll say that is most important, because I will be coming to the books and all those things, that is later, because everyone says all those things. But what happens, despite doing all those things, we are not able to speak English many times, because these all things that we generally tend to ignore are the main obstructions in your learning. The number three thing that I feel is that courage and conviction. See, basically what happens when you start learning English, there is high chance that you will pronounce many letters very wrong. Like for honest, what you say, you might say honest. For like for any other thing, for hour, you will say hour. So that is fine. That is fine, as long as you are open to learning. Because you will be speaking honest, but someday someone will say, no, no, that is not honest. It is honest. Take the cue and never repeat it. Be honest. Something like that. Because I had read a quote somewhere that I have a deep respect for those persons who generally mispronounce a word, because they have tried to learn the word by themselves and not from others. So if you are learning English from me, you will learn that it is not hour, it is hour. But if you are learning by yourself, by your own courage and conviction, there is a chance that you will say hour instead of hour, which is obviously wrong. But this is something, this shows your dedication. You are learning it by yourself. Someday someone will correct you and you will be corrected. That's fine. But this dedication, this courage, this conviction, don't feel side down. Oh, what the people will say when I speak English. Those all things are the biggest obstructions. Be fearless. Be shameless while you are learning the language. Use it. And one day you will see you have become expert. I'm not telling you shameless means you will use very obscene, vulgar terms. No. Don't feel the what you say, that you are very less self-confident while speaking English. Speak it with full confidence. पूरा जोश के साथ बात कीजिए, बस वही. Now let us come to what all things we will do. See, for fluency over any language, there are 4 steps. If you want to get fluency over speaking part of it, then there are 2 things, that is the listening and speaking. You should listen and you should speak. Basically, for example, when I was in Karnataka, in Bengaluru, while I was working in Bosch, and Kannada is such a beautiful language. And even though I didn't know its alphabet and all, but I listened to Kannada, and I used to speak something like "Yen marta idire" or something like that. So this is, I have listened and have spoke. So this is spoken part, and obviously you have to work on the written part also. For written, what is that? You should read and write. When you read the literature and you write. So basically, for reading a language, these 4 things are there. What? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So you have to work on all 4 of this. And basically, when we are trying to do it, because I see most of my audience would be for various competitive exams, many for UPSC, OPSC, and many other exams. So for you, it is not only spoken part, because spoken part would be something which will be helpful for you in interview. But the reading, the writing part, the written part of the thing, language is also important. So you have to focus on all the 4 parts, that is the reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So now what we will do? See, you must be knowing the basics, the alphabets and all those things. That is fine. You must have known that. So now where do we start? The number 1 thing I will say, please focus on grammar from the from the very beginning. If you don't focus on grammar and you just go about speaking all those things without focusing on the grammar, it becomes very difficult to to correct it at a later stage. So while you are starting to read English, please focus on grammar. So how do we do it? We have some very beautiful grammar books. You must be knowing some that, like I have heard the book, I have seen the book also, Ren and Martin. that is there. In fact, you can take the help from YouTube. Nowadays, I have many friends who are preparing for many competitive exams, and in fact, I do refer many a times for forest services. I remember there are very beautiful videos on YouTube which teaches you English grammar, and that too for free, freely available. Please read all those the basic things like the tenses, the subject verb agreement, and all those things, and do it from the beginning. You might make a playlist of it and you can use it. This is another book that is called Word Power Made Easy. This also you can do. The book is not very costly. It's maybe 100 to 200 rupees if I'm not wrong. If you can afford it, you can read it, and gradually it will increase your vocabulary. See, the first part is learning English and later increasing your vocabulary also. Because see, for example, there is a word like the curd is called dahi in many languages, in Odia also. But for example, I don't know that the dahi is called curd. So while speaking, I will be saying that you put the milk over there and it will become dahi. The Englishman might not understand. So vocabulary is also very important. And Word Power Made Easy, the book, it will help you. So the basic is grammar book and YouTube grammar. So that is very important. And in fact, I would say there is another book. Basically, I was telling I am doing Sanskrit also. So what I have bought a translation book. Translation book is very important. Please bring a translation book of your language which you are very fluent of. It may be your mother tongue. Like for me, it is Odia. I have bought a translation book of Odia and Sanskrit. For any other language you are confident, you can bring and you can use that. The dictionary is also there in your local language. Now there is another thing. That you must do. You can read newspaper. See, I have said the more time you spend with English, the more fluent you will become. So read editorials of the newspapers, and please read newspaper as such. Because number one, it will increase your knowledge, it will make you more disciplined, it will help you in your examination, and it will help your English fluency and proficiency. Now, what you will see in editorials, please see the subheadings of the editorials. They use it, you can use it directly in your exam. Please see how they jump from one paragraph to another while maintaining the flow. It's not like that I am talking about India is very good in defense and all those things, and we have so much defense capabilities and all those things, and directly from there I am jumping, which is nowhere related to defense. I am going that India's movie industry is also increasing. So here you see I am talking about defense here, and directly I am jumping to movie industry without any linkage. So see how in editorial they are jumping from one thing to other, and that too with maintaining coherence. So this is very important. And you see the choice of vocabulary they use. The choice of vocabulary might make you very frightened from the very beginning. But with gradual you will understand, yes, there are very choices set of vocabulary. You will see some words like quantity. You will see some words like reticent. Many other words. They are very beautifully and they are used. In fact, you will see the words that are used for specific purposes, like India is walking on a tightrope. This is used for diplomacy. So something that you will learn, and it will gradually improve your English capabilities. Okay, and you must know that everything becomes effortless with time. I have given the example of bike riding. I will given the example of your learning your subject also. At first it seems very difficult. I will make a video on that. There are 4 stages of learning. I will make another video on that because this will make it very lengthy, and you will understand that learning has 4 steps, and in one step it becomes very frustrating and unbearable. If you are able to cross that, learning becomes very important, very easy in the next step. So have patience, have confidence with you, and you are going to do it. Okay, now there are another thing that you can do, which is a boon for the we people who are living in this digital age. That is the technology help. There are very good apps which you can use for self-study of English. There are many English self-study apps. There is another app which many of my friends have said, and I was just checking in the Google also that many have recommended it. That is called Duolingo app. You can use it for other language also. So please use technological help, the apps. And while using the apps, please see all those apps that makes English learning a very fun language. And they must be anchored. Anchored, what I say, the anchoring means, anchoring is a technique wherein maybe while telling that the apple is a fruit, they will show you a picture of apple. So next time when you see the apple's photo, automatically the word apple will come. Your memory is anchored to an object. सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज ऑल्सो यू कैन डू, ये आप कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजिकल हेल्प मतलब ऐप वगैरह का मदद लीजिए, उससे लर्निंग को ना बहुत ही मस्त कीजिए. आपका जो पिक्टोग्राफिक मेमोरी है, द पिक्टोग्राफिक मेमोरी, द व्हाट यू से, you remember the word of an object while looking at it. Please use all those things. Now there is another thing that many recommend, and I would also recommend, please, if possible, for any language that you are learning, please watch the movies of it. And while I'm recommending the watch the movies, if you are learning and UPSC and all those things, there are many beautiful documentaries that you can watch. The 1982 Gandhi film is there. There are many other documentaries which can help you in your progress also in the exam. Please watch English movies. Why? Because you will listen and this will help you in speaking, and you will be deciphering the meaning of all those things, which will help you in reading and writing at a later stage. And what happens, you can at first you can add the subtitles, but gradually as you see some movies and you feel you are confident, gradually watch the movies without subtitles, and this is the climax. This is like something very beautiful. Okay, now there are another YouTube channels I have said. Now there are something, see, we have spoken English now, that we have listened, we have spoken English, but to express yourself, see, it is very easy many a times that you listen and all those things and you are able to speak, but when it comes to writing you becomes very terrified. Oh, how I will write. So basic first step, please write. The start thing, have a lot of patience and write. Take the first step, take the courage and conviction, and please write a topic. See what happens when you write, it opens up your mind, it opens up your thought process. You know where you stand while writing, you know whether you can remember a word while writing or not. And so please write. You can write a diary, maybe you can write an essay, maybe you can write a note, maybe you can write what you feel. Maybe you are in a sea beach and you feel you have a maybe you remember one of your most beautiful moments of your life and you feel very nostalgic and you want to write. You might be writing in your mother tongue. Please take effort. And if you want to learn English or any other language, please try to write it in English. And what happens? It will open up your mind. And you see, for in those time, if you write the word, you have learned a new word. Like for example, I said the word quandary, and you use that in your note that day. Next time when you write, the word will automatically come to your mind. And this is a practice. The more time you spend, the more fluent it becomes. And after that, please show it to your friends and get checked, because if you don't show it to your friends, your level remains the same. Whatever you have learned and applied, that only remains. But whenever you show it to your friends and someone who is very good in those languages, they will identify. Okay, mister, you have done this mistake, that mistake, that mistake. Please correct it, else your paragraph is beautiful. This is something. This is the process of learning. We learn every day. We learn every moment. And this is what you make the learning very creative in your approach. Now, after that, what happens, which is most important, please converse with your friends. Please talk to your friends in English or any other language that you do. Because initially we feel very underconfident to speak in English or something. If you gradually converse with them, and one day miracle happens. Oh my God, I'm speaking English so fluently. So that is something. Please converse. Don't have this thing that, okay, I don't know pronunciation of this word, that word. They will say that you are very naive in English. You don't know English. They will make fun of me. Those all things are fine. They will make fun of you today maybe, but tomorrow once you succeed, they will come to you for your opinion. So that's why initial things are there. Who has not faced initial brunt? Everyone has faced. I too have faced. So that is fine. But one day these all things don't matter. What matters that you have learnt a new language, which has opened a plethora of opportunities for you, which has opened up a treasure of literature for you, which you can use to enhance yourself when you learn the word English, learn English or any other things. So that's why please open. In fact, I have a I remember one of my friend somewhere. This is maybe a slight modification as such, but it will help you serve the purpose. One of my friend who was not very good in English, he was talking to one of his friend who was very fluent in English, and while talking, he made some mistakes in pronunciation. Okay. So the other person who was very fluent in English was very prompt to point out, okay, mister, see here you have done the mistakes in this part of the English and all, and you have pronounced, you have made a mistake with the pronunciation of these words and all. My friend who was learning the English, he was very witty and he said, okay, I might have made all those mistakes, but mind you, my friend, this is not pronunciation, rather it's pronunciation. So see something, this is something. He learned something and he made the other person learn something. So this is something when you are open to, because if you would have been not open, you would have been very, not courageous, and you would have been very frightened, okay, how I learn English and all. He might not have said, he might not have thought that, okay, that it's pronunciation and all those things. So something that's, so That's why it is very important. When you are open, you take everything positively, and you at the same time validate your own knowledge. That's why it is very important. And last thing, if you can afford, there are many spoken English courses that are going on. You can join over there. That's fine. You can take professional help. You can afford. Definitely, at the end, you will be learning a thing. So that is there. If you can afford, and if you feel it is necessary, if you are not able to do it by your own, that is fine. So this is something that I wanted to say. In fact, I think I have covered almost everything that I wanted to say. So basically, at the end, I will say, see the all the help like the book, YouTube videos, and all those things. Those are there, I feel. But the most important thing that I feel is the your courage and conviction, your confidence, your patience to be with this subject. It might be very frustrating at times, but if you are able to continue it, you will do definitely wonders. And please spend time to it. But again, I will say, in this quest, don't neglect your regional or local language or your mother tongue, because that is also very important. They are the treasure house of the heritage, the rich Indian heritage. So that's why the need of the hour is balance. So that's all that I would like to say. Please stay happy, and if you want to learn the new language, anything, start from today. Subhasya Sekhra. That's all. Thank you again. It was nice to be here, uh, talking about this topic. Thank you. Namaste.